can't lie. Teammates' brutal truth and Ben Simmons NBA saga. Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers have some serious drama, and it has been going on since a while now. Do you know how it started? And do you know when Simmons plans to end it? Let's find out. When did it start? The dangerous rift between both sides dates back to the last season when Simmons was dangled in trade talks for the iconic James Harden. The deal never really came around since Harden ended up being traded to the Brooklyn Nets. But when Simmons found out that the organization was willing to move him, he wasn't pleased. In fact, it was clear that the efforts to make a deal had rubbed Simmons the wrong way, but our star player maintained his cool in front of the press and did not speak out against his team. I mean, this is business, Simmons said at the time. Things like that happen. The only thing that I can control is how I approach my work, the games, and my day-to-day things. So, I'm just trying to be professional and do the right thing and help my team get wins. He also mentioned that his job is to come into work every day, get better at the game, and ultimately win all games, and anything outside of that domain was not under his control. Despite his calm statement, it was clear that Simmons was a little hurt since he mentioned how there were worse things going on in the world and he was blessed to have the privilege to enjoy the game he loves. And even though both sides moved on, Simmons knew that his team was thinking of trading him, and that evidently ruined his relationship with them. What happened in May 2021? After Simmons gave his statement, the chatter surrounding his future with Philadelphia settled down for a bit, but things couldn't stay calm for too long, and the drama began to buzz again during the postseason in May. When Philadelphia was playing their first-round series against Washington, Simmons struggled from the foul line and ended up shooting just 10 for 28 over 5 games. The Sixers were later able to save the game in advance, but there was rising concern among Philadelphia fans over how Simmons would perform moving forward in the postseason. Some fans even accused him of trying to sabotage the game because he had held a grudge against the team. And during an interview with CBS Sports in July, the Wizards guard Bradley Beal revealed how the Wizards exposed a weakness in Simmons' game that the Hawks were able to capitalize on. Unwarranted criticism and the loss of faithful fans continued to put Simmons on edge, since he was expected to prove his loyalty for the team when they were the ones trying to trade him. When Simmons struggled against Atlanta, even though he had a chance to pick up his pace, Simmons' performance from the foul line didn't improve much in the second round against Atlanta either. In fact, in a total of 12 playoff games, Simmons made just 25 of his 73 attempts from the charity stripe. That is just 34%. If you didn't already know, this is the worst mark in a single postseason in the entire NBA history. Even though some people think he did it on purpose, it was clear that Simmons' struggles from the foul line shook his confidence, and that just leaked over into other areas of his game and made things even worse. So, in the full 7-game series against Atlanta, Simmons took 3 total shots in the fourth quarter of the game, so he didn't even attempt one single shot in the fourth quarter of 5 of the 7 games. If you can't already tell, that's pretty bad. To make things worse, during Game 7 against Atlanta, Simmons passed out an excellent opportunity at the rim to avoid a potential foul. His team was not pleased, and that play has stuck like a thorn in the side of Sixers fans ever since. This is also because the Sixers lost that game, and the whole series too. In fact, they even blamed Simmons, and Joel Embiid later pointed out that Simmons' play was the turning point where everything went wrong. As you might have expected, that didn't sit well with Simmons, who was also unhappy with comments that Doc Rivers made right after the game had ended. When he was asked if he thought Simmons could be a championship-level point guard, Rivers said that he didn't really know how to answer that question. When Sixers opened Simmons' trade talks with a high asking price in July 2021. Soon after this tense episode ended, the Sixers reopened trade talks related to Simmons with an extremely high asking price. That made sense given his age, skill set, and the team-friendly contract he had. It was evident that the Sixers were looking for a serious return for Simmons, but nothing good seemed to be coming out of these trade talks. Simmons wasn't happy, and the Sixers entertained offers for much of the summer, but they didn't find anything intriguing enough to pull the trigger on. In August, it was reported that trade talks involving Simmons had been stalled for the time being. It was also reported that the Sixers were prepared to start the season with him as a part of the official team. But even though they wanted to play with him for the time being, the feeling wasn't mutual. Simmons was angry that the team made him feel replaceable, and he refused to report to training camp. It was reported that Simmons had asked the Sixers for a trade and had told them that he wouldn't be reporting to training camp during this time. He let his feelings out in a meeting in LA, which was also attended by the Sixers co-manager partner Josh Harris. It was a strange situation because the Sixers had encouraged the idea of trading Simmons previously, and now he wanted to be traded too. When Simmons missed media day, all rumors of beef between Simmons and the 76ers became reality on this day because Simmons began his holdout from the 76ers by choosing to be absent on the team's media day. The media day is supposed to be an important publicity event, and Simmons' absence became the main talking point that day. All the players on the team, including Embiid, said they wanted to see Simmons back in Philadelphia. Embiid even mentioned how much he liked playing with Simmons and that he was a close friend. He also said that Simmons was a welcome presence in their team, and he always added value to it. So it was strange that he chose to be absent on a day that was important for the rest of the team. Embiid also mentioned that he was a little disappointed by the absence, since he was hoping Simmons would be on board with media day. Harris also added that Simmons was a huge part of the team, and him not being there was really disappointing for everyone. He addressed the fight rumors directly and admitted that things had been tense between the team. Even though everyone had expected one of the players to finally admit something shady was going on, some fans were a little sad to hear about the rift that had formed between the members. Especially they were all such great friends earlier this year. How did Embiid react? Even though Embiid seemed calm and collected on media day, he soon expressed his frustration with the Simmons situation. This happened for the first time on September 30th, when Embiid went on record to criticize Simmons and said that the situation is weird, disappointing, borderline kind of disrespectful to all the guys that are out here fighting for their lives. He also mentioned how some of the players were hard workers who were relying on the success of the team so that they would be able to stay in the league and make money. But clearly Simmons didn't care about the team at all because he was too busy holding grudges against people. The frustration seemed to catch on, and Simmons was punished by the team in October. He was due a quarter of his contract for the 2021-2022 season, which amounted to a whopping $8.25 million. But there was some ongoing speculation about whether the team would end up paying him that money, but they refused to pay him and set up an escrow account with the cash he was supposed to get when Simmons got kicked out of practice. After his payments were withheld and some fines were imposed, Simmons realized that he would have to make a speedy return to the team if he wanted to see his money again. But it was clear that he did not intend to play nicely with his teammates after his return to the team. In fact, he was so angsty throughout sessions that the team decided to boot him from practice for not being engaged. Even the head coach Doc Rivers agreed that Simmons was not doing his best and was too busy sulking instead of practicing, so the team had to suspend Simmons for one game. So it's unclear if and when Simmons will suit up again for the 76ers. But it's safe to say that the entire league and all the fans around the globe will be watching to see what happens next. Do you think Simmons will reconcile with the team, or will he be leaving with bitter feelings? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.